Hello, St. Joan of Arc. This is Greg King, and I just wanted to share a little bit of my story of how I came to St. Joan of Arc and how that journey has led me to do immigrant rights advocacy. First thing to know is that my mother is from the Philippines and came to Minnesota to go to college, and so I have very strong ties to family back there. And it was after a particularly profound trip to the Philippines that we took in 2008 that I realized I wanted to find a faith community, because I had seen how faith had inspired people from all over the world, really, to come and care for people in the Philippines, in a place where there was not a good social safety net. And even more so, I saw how faith inspired people who had very little material in the world to still have hope and faith in a brighter future. And so we came back, and my wife and I talked about it, and since she grew up in South Minneapolis in a Catholic family, she knew about St. Joan of Arc, and so it was on Easter of 2008 that we first showed up there, and we haven't left since, at least not until COVID came around. And we got very involved in the ministries there. I went through the RCIA process the following year, and our three daughters were all baptized together at a little bit older age. But through faith formation and adoptive families and Isaiah were all ministries that we jumped into. And Isaiah really inspired me because it showed me how to turn faith into action, and that action being changing structures to bend them towards more justice. And so I did that work for a handful of years, primarily in education equity. And even today I'm still a parent advocate at Minneapolis Public Schools, thanks to that work we did through Isaiah. But then in 2016, when I saw the anti-immigrant sentiment that was unleashed during that election, it really shocked me, for one thing, and made me want to get closer to immigrant communities and support what I knew was going to happen, which is that they were going to be targeted. And so I started to do some work with a group called the Interfaith Coalition on Immigration, or ICOM. And they're the group that I first was introduced to through St. Joan of Arc, because they hosted the vigils at detention centers, one of which I remember in a particularly cold Super Bowl Sunday. And we still host those vigils today on the second Tuesday of every month at the Whipple Courthouse at Fort Snelling. But I got involved not just in ICOM's vigils, but in their leadership team, and am now currently serving as the president. And the need is huge, and we've really expanded beyond vigils to advocacy, and we've hired a consultant that has led us through things like formation of the Sanctuary State Coalition, so that we can advocate for those structural changes. And we've also really expanded a program called AID, which is Accompaniment of Immigrants in Detention, where we help individuals and families who are caught in the detention and deportation system. Anything from looking for legal advice to paying rent or finding the dentist as an undocumented person. And it's really been thanks to groups like St. Joan of Arc that we can do this work. And so again, I wanted to just thank you for not just taking my family and I in, helping me find ways to turn my faith into action, but for supporting groups like ICOM, which I know dozens of you have come to our vigils over the years, and more recently you've been supporting us financially because we were lucky enough to get a Justice Fund grant. So thanks again for the journey, and I do look forward to seeing you all very soon back in the gym. God bless.